him pronouns. I have the honor of being your worship associate this morning. Please take a moment to put your minds, spirit, and cell phones in worship mode. We welcome everyone here and online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke this morning. We are so glad you are all here today. So let's take a second to turn, stand up if you wish, and connect with everyone watching at home.
We get to see ourselves too.
For those of you online who wish to share your joys and concerns during the lifeline portion of the service, please put them in the chat in the next 15 minutes. Our church is served by our minister, Rev. Jen Raffensberg. This week, we are pleased to welcome Charlie Finn as a guest in our home. Barbara and I have known Charlie and his wife Penny for quite a few years. Charlie worked with Barbara as a counselor at Psychological Health of Roanoke for many years. Raised Catholic, Charlie Finn spent 10 years in the Jesuits, which he considers a firm foundation for all that has followed. He considers his spirit journey only deepening after leaving institutional religion. After a career of high school teaching in Chicago, and then 30 years as a licensed professional counselor here in Virginia, he now lives in Fincastle with his wife Penny. He is gleeful in his retirement to have more time for writing, his passion across a lifetime. He has published several books of poetry, and he worships with the Roanoke Friends. He's left in the foyer some copies of his poetry for you to take if you would like. And now, our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations, and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. Now please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of holding, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. In our covenant, we commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
When we knew Lisa Cowledge was, she was an Catholic citizen, and in the 60s she protested for peace. And this song was taken verbatim pretty much from the story that Jones did on her birthday. My name is Lisa Cowledge. I was born in the Roanoke, and when the trials were more than 14 years ago, it seemed to me ridiculous, the old nation all to blame for the horrors which the world did undergo. A short while later, when I applied for He refused my exit birth, said my answers did not show. I learned my lesson about responsibility. But suddenly I was forced to start thinking on this theme, and then later when I was permitted to immigrate, I must have been asked 100 times where I was and what I did in those years when you go without state. I said I was a child, or at most a teenager, but this always extended the question to me. They asked me where were my parents, my father, my mother, and to this I could answer nothing. The seeds planted there in the earth in 1947 started to sprout and to grow. Gradually I understood what that birth meant to me, when there are crimes that I can see and I can know. And now I also know I was charged with man's guilt. Once in a lifetime is enough for me. No, I could not take it a second time. That is why I am here today. And then someday comes the day of our protest. Put a small balance weight on the other side. And hopefully someday my contribution to peace will help just a bit to turn the tide. And perhaps I can tell my children 6 and then later to their own children. At least in the future, they need not be silent. They are asking, where was their motherland?
For our opening words, I would like to recite one of Charlie's poems entitled Inner Fortification Necessary. Courage, fortitude, gumption, backbone, bedrock words such as these stir in us a longing to search high and low for the inner fortification necessary to embolden us to stand up to our feet. And now, Barbara, if you'll come forward and give us the honors of lighting the chalice. We now join the Unitarian Universalist churches and congregations across the nation and the world as we light our chalice, a symbol of our faith and beacon of our hope within our living tradition.
Serve you. I'm Kate Grant, and I'm doing the children's message this morning. Normally we sit down to do this, but, you know, we can do with things. Do we have any children here who have the courage to come up here and sit, rise up? Any children with courage? Absolutely. I don't know that I would have had the courage at your age to come forward, honestly. I'd probably sit back in the stand going, I don't know if I want to do this. I know what she's going to do. Look at those steps, what you're going to do. So I'm just going to have you pick a stick. Whatever size stick you want. Some are smaller, some are thicker, some tiny, another band. So where did you get the courage from to come up here? Have you ever done this before? No? No? Oh, wow. Did you come up, you were the first one, right? I think you were the first one. Did it help that she came up here first? Did it help to have people with you? Yeah? Do you know what the number one fear is most adults have? All the fears in the world? Do you know what it is? Can you guess? Does anybody know? Public speaking. Public speaking. Showing up in front of everybody else and having to do something is the biggest fear adults have. So look at you guys, you've already overcome the biggest fear that adults have. So now I'm going to ask you to do this extraordinary feat of breaking your stick. Go ahead, break it. How many? Yes. Take a little. Make one of these.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, everybody broke a stick. Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is take a bunch of sticks. Okay? A bunch of sticks. I think you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, now take your whole bundle and see if you can break them. Break the whole bundle. You need more sticks. Okay, he's making some progress here. He's almost got through it. You're not supposed to break them. Has to do with courage. Sometimes when we have to do something by ourselves, it's much scarier than if we have other people to help us, right?
Yeah.
If there's a bully at school and you're the only one to stand up for the person who's being hurt, it's much harder to do than if you have a group of your friends who are all supporting you and doing that, right? So courage is something where we have to, sometimes it's hard to do it by ourselves. And we have to call on other people to help us or others ways to get help and support in doing what we do. Okay? Okay. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for helping me. I really appreciate it.
Our reading this morning is from 7 statements of courage by Martin Luther King. The first is from a speech at a college rally. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, You have to keep moving forward. And the second is from his I Have a Dream speech. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And finally, from his autobiography, courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite obstacles. Cowardice is a submissive surrender to circumstances. Courage breeds creativity. Cowardice represses fear and is mastered by it. Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when we must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular. But one must take it because it is right.
Hello, everybody. I got the closeness correct with this mic. John O'Donohue once said that the human face is the icon of creation. It's delightful to look out on a room full of icons. When Kay was talking with the kids a minute ago and mentioned the terror, she didn't use that word, but a lot of people feel terror at the thought of getting up in front of people. And I was reminded of the secret that I was forced to learn. This is a long time ago. I had just become a teacher in a Jesuit high school in Chicago. And first thing the principal did was address the parents. And I'm not sure what the occasion was. And of course, the terror rose, but I had no choice. And I realized a part of me that I've carried all my life, that I call Mouse, says, but what will they think? So, the fear of making a fool of oneself, loving, whatever. But there's another part of me that I call Moose. And the message of Moose is, when Mouse says, what will they think? Moose says, let's give them something new to think. I'd like to begin with a fond parenting recollection. My daughter April was about 2 and still in the crib. And I remember after ending my bedtime ritual, I was at the door and I looked back and I said, April, how much does Daddy love you? And she stood up, raised her arms to the sky and said, so much. Well, if you wonder what that might have to do with the primacy of courage, which is the topic that I'm going to be speaking on? My answer is, I imagined you saw that topic and asked me, how important is courage? So here I am, standing up in my crib, raising my arms to the sky and saying, so important. Four quotes to start us off. The first is from the memoir of a high school teacher. Courage is not merely one of many values, but the form of every value at its moment of testing. Whatever you claim to value, you're going to be challenged. There's going to be a moment of testing. And that's where courage must come in. Then this from Maya Angelou. It was at the time when Obama was first elected, and she was on some kind of a talk show, and somebody asked her, what do you think Martin would be wishing Obama at this point? And she said, courage, courage, courage. And then this from the Journal of May Sarton. She had just turned 70. And she said, if somebody asked me, what is the single greatest human quality? I would have to answer courage. Courage and imagination. Those two. And finally, one that you've likely heard before, attributed to many sources. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. If hard battles are the name of the game, where in the world do we get the courage to keep fighting? We're going on a courage ride today that has 5 stops. But before we begin, I wanted to share a time when I came to a kind of epiphany listening or watching a tennis match. It was a Wimbledon finals many years ago between the king of the court at the time was Roger Federer, whom everybody predicted would prevail. And he was facing a young Spanish upstart by the name of Rafael Nadal, whom a lot of people had never heard of. And it was an epic match for any of you that are tennis fans and might remember it. Back and forth. And during this, the commentator, the TV commentator, said, Roger, remember who you are. Now the irony is that the guy he was playing against, Rafael Nadal, was also remembering who he was. And it was Nadal that upset Federer in that classic Wimbledon final. But then the epiphany. I think the better question to ask is not remember who you are, but remember whose you are. Remember who you are implies you're standing alone. And you gotta muster up all your inner resources to find the courage to meet this battle. But remember whose you are reminds you that you are not alone. An image to help before we go further. The image is a gorgeously decorated lamp with a very strong bulb in it. The point being, this is utterly useless when it comes to spreading light unless it is plugged in. It might earn you something on Antiques Roadshow someday, but when it comes to casting light, useless until it's plugged in. So this talk really is all about plugging in to what I'm calling 5 sources of courage. First, plug into the universe. Then to planet Earth. And then to what I will be calling a council of elders. And then to an innermost circle of inner advisors, or what I like to call guardian angels. And finally, to the Great Spirit behind, within, and ahead of it all. That's going to be our journey towards courage today. And we're going to end with a kind of call and response. First up, the universe. 3 crucial things to remember about the universe. First, that it is not out there somewhere. Separate from us. How can it be when we are its outermost extension? Not only a living part of it, connected, as it were, at the hip, but on its cutting edge. Second crucial thing about the universe. It is not static. Get deep down quiet enough and see if you can begin to feel the pulsing, the current that's been